when we have a negative thought, it fires off these peptides to then feel a negative feeling, and then fires off more neurons to think a negative thought, and then it's just like a cycle, right? But it's the same cycle for positivity. When we have a positive thought, it fires off that positive feeling, that fires off the positive thought, and that's another cycle. So it's really just training your brain to having this cycle to getting into this cycle. Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? My name is Sabrina and welcome to my channel where we talk about everything positive mindset, mental health, and law of attraction related. And today I feel really inspired to talk about how to manifest when you're depressed. It can feel so hard to think positive things when you feel so low or feel so negative. And I used to be hella depressed, but I've been able to 100%, get past that and heal through it. So make sure you stay until the end because these tips really do work. And I have a lot of really good advice to give you guys. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So first things first, I want to say that in order to manifest, when you're depressed, when you're feeling down, you can't just keep piling on positive things onto negative emotions. You have got to release those negative emotions and that negative energy in you in order to manifest positive things into your life and those positive desires, the things that you would actually like. So what I do is really powerful is a Ho'oponopono forgiveness practice. And this is an ancient Hawaiian practice to release yourself from past circumstances and past things that have happened. Forgive the people that may have hurt you in order to let go of that negative energy that is within you and holding you down. And this technique is really basic. It's really easy, but it is very, very powerful. And it honestly was the biggest turning point in my life when it came to healing my past and walking away from depression. So I could talk about the practice itself for 20 minutes, but I will just leave a free guide and workbook below this video if you guys are interested in doing the practice, because it really does work and it makes a lot of really good transformations in your life. So I suggest doing that before anything. And I do suggest to let yourself feel these negative emotions. And I know that sounds counterproductive, and you may be worried about, manifesting negative things when you feel negative emotions. But when you resist feeling a certain type of way, you're actually suppressing it in you. And emotions, even though we may not see the energy behind emotions, emotions are energy in motion. And when we suppress those, even though we may not see it, they will take some sort of, you will feel it. It will feel like a heavier, kind of darker, not great feeling in you. And this can actually cause physical sicknesses and physical symptoms when you suppress negative and really lower vibrational feelings and emotions in you. So it's really important to not resist and instead feel through them and heal through them, but also being mindful to not go down that negative spiral. When you have one negative thought and then you're like say you didn't wake up at the time you wanted to, and you're I didn't wake up at this time, but I've also fallen back on these habits and I just might not even try, and my life is failing anyway, and whatever. And you just start going down this really negative spiral and you feel worse and worse. So you can catch yourself from going down that super negative spiral, but also just be aware of your thoughts and feelings, and also be aware of your feelings about the way you're feeling. Because a lot of times when we learn about the law of attraction, we think that we can't feel any type of negative emotion. We're oh God, a negative emotion, I'm gonna be manifesting negative things. I can't feel that. And you start resisting it, and then it's just counterproductive because then you're just suppressing all of this stuff. And when you're suppressing it, it's still in your energetic field. You're still going to manifest those things because you're suppressing it. So that's why we need to work through it and let it go. The universe doesn't care when you have negative thoughts. Yes and no. You just need to have more positive than negative. Whatever has more momentum behind it is what is going to take over and manifest into your physical reality. But it's not you can't feel negative things. You should feel negative things. Our feelings are our compass, and they're indicators of where we should be going and what we should do and what we should not do. And when we feel those lower feelings, it's just our subconscious mind and our higher self letting us know this is something that is still in us and something that we need to work through. So instead of resisting it, we need to confront it in order to let it go, in order to bring in that positive thing. Because we can't think of your mind and your heart like a house. And I don't know if you've seen the show Hoarders, where like the house is just like filled to the top of junk and it's just like, you know, broken down and messy. And then think of you like having that house and then trying to cram, you know, positive, lovey things into it. You're just going to feel like more overwhelmed than anything. But when we can see the junk and be like, okay, this is something that is not serving me to my highest good, I can let it go. And then when you really let that go, we can then bring in the positivity and it will feel so much lighter instead of feeling that like overwhelm. And you can work through these negative emotions by journaling. Journaling is really like the ultimate form of self-therapy. And say you have like a negative thought, and so you go, instead of, you know, attaching that negative emotion to that thought, really this is key, becoming aware of that thought and not attaching an emotion to it. Just becoming aware of that and thinking like, that's interesting that I had that thought, instead of being like, oh, like, you know, feeling some type of way about it. And that's what I love doing with myself when I have a thought. I think, that's interesting why I thought that. Why did I think that? Is there some core belief that is attached to this somewhere? Even though it may not seem 100% related. For example, I used to be a person, not anymore, but I used to be someone who would judge other women and other girls for, you know, showing their skin. And when I would see, you know, someone showing a lot of skin, I would have a judgmental thought of like, oh, like their ass is out, they're trying to get attention, like what is she wearing, right? That's the kind of thoughts that I would have. That's the kind of like judgment I would cast on them. And of course it doesn't feel good to cast judgment on others, and with the law of karma, I'm only manifesting that negative energy back to me. But instead of attaching that negative emotion to it, I can then sit back and observe, that's interesting that I had that thought. Why did I have that thought? And then when I ask myself why, and you can journal this out in your journal, when you ask yourself why, you can start to see this core belief that is really driving that thought. So I ask myself, why do I care that her ass is out? And then I get the answer, because I feel like she's trying to get attention. You know, it may still be kind of superficial, but I'm still getting somewhere by asking myself why. So then I ask myself, why do I care that she even may want attention? Because that's also an assumption that she wants attention, you know? Maybe she just feels confident in that, or maybe they're hand-me-downs and she may not even be one to wearing that, but that's all she has, or like, you never know why, but I can't assume that she wants attention. But if I was assuming, why would I even care that she wants that attention? And then my answer is, I care about that because I feel self-conscious about myself and my body, and other guys don't look at me the way they look at her. And then you can go even deeper with that. You know, why am I self-conscious about my body? And I can say, well, my body isn't the way I want it to be. I want my body to look a different type of way, or whatever it is. And then you can ask yourself, why do you want your body to look a different type of way? And then the answer to that is, I don't feel worthy with myself. I don't accept myself the way I am. And that is really the core belief that you can see like driving that thought. And when you can get to that core belief, this is where the transformation happens. When you become aware of that belief, that's 90% of the work. And that is so awesome and transformational, but you still need to do that other part of the actual transformation. So you become aware of that belief and then write out the opposite empowering belief of, I accept myself just the way I am, and I am worthy just the way I am. Or something along those lines. Just make sure the new affirmation is something that really makes you feel good and makes you feel fired up. And then train your brain to think that new affirmation. And that is how you really, you know, shift out of that identity of depression and negative thinking to the positive thinking. And really, when we have a negative thought, it fires off these peptides to then feel a negative feeling, and then fires off more neurons to think a negative thought, and then it's just like a cycle, right? But it's the same cycle for positivity. When we have a positive thought, it fires off that positive feeling, that fires off the positive thought, and that's another cycle. So it's really just training your brain to having this cycle to getting into this cycle. So reaffirming that positive belief is just slowly pushing you on that scale to think more positively, like habitually positively. And when you make the choice to think a positive thought instead of a negative one, this is a technique that is like really powerful to me, is when I have a negative thought, instead of feeling into that negative thought, just becoming aware of it and being like, okay, that's interesting that I thought that, having the awareness of why I thought that, and then switching it to a positive one, and then feeling and thinking that positive one like at least 5 times. So if I have the thought of like, oh, I'm so ugly, I can then become aware of that and be like, okay, no, that's not right. That's not who I am. That's not what I want to create. And then I can choose to think the positive thought of, I am beautiful. And when you repeat that and feel into it, like I am beautiful, I am beautiful, I am beautiful, and really feel into it, that is going to ignite that positive emotion and kind of like start this cycle over here. And the more you do that, the more you keep this habit of the positive thinking going, and the more you kind of kill off that negative side. So let yourself feel the negative feelings, but become aware of the core belief driving those negative thoughts and feelings. Question yourself, question those thoughts. Think, why am I thinking this thought in this first place? Is this even my thought, or is this someone else's thought? You know, your thoughts are not you. You are not defined by your thoughts. And you can choose to feel positive when you become aware of that. It's just training your brain. And don't feel bad, don't get hard on yourself when you feel these negative emotions, because it's something that we all go through. We all feel the negativity sometimes, and it's just our shadow self like showing itself, and we just need to confront that and heal through it and get past it, and then we can raise at a higher vibrational frequency. So that is it that I have for today, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments and I will do my best to get back to you. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it and let me know. I can definitely make more videos like this if you guys want, because I have so many tips on reprogramming your brain, healing yourself, and getting out of depression. Feel free to share this video with anyone you feel may want to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.